Hi everyone, Kim Mays here with Rockin' Dogs Positive Dog Training, and today we're standing in my kitchen and we're going to talk about counter surfing. Now, just to give you a little background on our video today, we're going to be doing this with my young dog Rocket. He's just shy of 2 years old. He has never counter surfed and never stolen anything off a shelf or anything in his 2 years of life, which I think is great, until yesterday. So the other day I left the kitchen. We don't really puppy proof our kitchen a whole lot because we don't have any dogs that are having problems with counter surfing. But I was cutting up some meat on the cutting board down here, and I had left a bag of treats and he snagged the bag of treats. So luckily it wasn't anything that would hurt him, but we need to nip this problem in the bud. So when we're dealing with counter surfing, you really want to think of it as the ultimate positive reinforcement, right? So your dog jumps up and steals the piece of meat that you're thawing out for dinner, or your Thanksgiving turkey, or a bag of treats like he did. So that's kind of like the ultimate jackpot, right? He jumped up on the counter, nobody was looking, got this great, amazing treat. And so what dog wouldn't want to try and go back for more? So we need to manage this problem now, today, and make sure he doesn't go back to that old habit. And we're going to do that by reinforcing, leaving these counters, and I'm going to show you as we go along how to booby trap. So let's go get started. Okay everyone, so we're back, and the first thing that we're going to do before we even introduce Rocket back into the kitchen again is management of the kitchen area. So even though Rocket is almost 2 years old and he's never counter surfed before, I am immediately going to go into puppy proof mode and puppy proof my counters again. So anything that I feel is a little bit too far out or that he might be able to pull down and be harmful, we're going to put away. So right now I have some utensils out here that we're drying. One of them is a dangerous knife, so it's pretty far back, but I'm still going to put these away. A little bit farther down the kitchen we have some open dog treats. So these are all going to get put back either under cabinets, on top of the microwave down at the end. We had some other treats over here that are laying down, so everything is going to get put up and away so he doesn't have access to those. And I would even go as far as if you have a really tricky dog, I will put baby locks on my bottom ones so they don't get in, because some dogs are very, very good at even opening those cabinets. So anything I think he might get into, kitchen trash, would go underneath here, so we're completely managed. The other thing I'm going to do is make sure that when he's in the kitchen right now, I'm always supervising him, so he does not have any time in here by himself like he did the other day where he got away with stealing. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, as we practice this next portion with the dog, I might even keep him on a leash if I have a really excessive problem. Now this is a new problem for Rocket, so in the video we're going to be doing it off leash because I'm going to try and trust him a little bit. But if your dog was consistently jumping up on your counters all the time, then I would manage that part as well by having the leash on. It's much easier to get the dog away. So I would say at this point in the game, managing the dog's environment is about 50% of your problem. So we want to start with that, get everything cleaned up, and then the next part, I'm going to introduce Rocket. So hang on guys. Hi everybody, so I'm back here with Rocket today, and we've managed the countertop environment, and we're going to do the first step of this process with Rocket in the kitchen. So he's going to have some unlimited access to the counters. They are puppy proofed for the most part. I'm going to take this dish towel and throw it up, and I think there was some on these ends. We're going to put those back up a little bit farther. And what we're going to do is let him peruse the countertops. So if he happens to look up at any point in the game, I'm going to call a leave it, and I have some nice stinky treats on me that he is going to come away from. So I'm going to stand by the camera, and we're going to let him have a little access and see what happens. Okay, so we're off to a pretty good start because I completely left the kitchen and Rocket did not want to go in the kitchen unless I was there. So he does know some skills as far as when to stay out of the kitchen, and it seems like he's still adhering to those. But we need to up the ante a little bit and make sure that he doesn't try and go for it again. So the next step, we are going to take a couple rewards. So I've already got his Kong stuff to go in the crate. We're going to put that out a little bit on the cutting board. And there's some little extra treats here. And we'll just pull, he seems to like crinkly bags, so I'm going to put that a little bit closer to the counter. So now there's some temptations. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go behind the camera and we're going to see if this entices Rocket at all. So we're really lucking out with Rocket today. He doesn't even want to stay in the kitchen when I'm not here. So that's actually a really, really good sign. But you never know. We got to keep up in that ante. So I have a feeling that the other day what enticed him to jump up was I was cutting some meat on the cutting board before I got the treat bags out and things for the dogs. So I think he smelled something on the cutting board possibly that was really enticing. So I'm going to put a nice stinky treat, and we have, we'll let him smell it. There's some meatball, and we're going to lay that on the counter, and we're going to try the same game again. So now we have some open meat close to the edge of the counter and see how he reacts to that. Okay. Leave it. Yes, good boy. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes, good boy. So that was great. Rocket had access to open meat on the counter. He had a few opportunities. He was really waiting and checking to see if I wasn't watching, but he did make a couple attempts and try and get there. We called to leave it and he came right away. After a couple of times, he stayed away. I left the video camera running for quite a few minutes afterwards just to see if I walked away, he was doing a good job, and he did. He stayed away. So this is what we want. Now, we're going to go in another room in a second, and I'm going to put the video camera really far away, and we're going to kind of, what I like to call booby trap the kitchen a little bit and set him up and see if he can really do it if I'm across the room from him or across the house from him. So let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to be way far away across the house and set him up with some items and kind of booby trap the kitchen a little bit and see how he does. So I don't know if you can see on this side you have a kitchen garbage can out. I'm going to put a treat basket that he's used to knowing the treats come from on the counter. We're going to put a kitchen towel kind of overhanging, and his Kong is still on the end. So I'm going to leave these things here. I'm going to go across the room to you guys, and we're going to see how Rocket does when we set him up. You guys can't see that, but he just put himself in his crate. Rocket, leave it. Yes. Good job. Hi everyone, so we kind of time-lapsed the last video, so you didn't see tons of footage of just an empty kitchen, but basically I think Rocket did a phenomenal job with this. At one point I even had to throw treats on the ground to try and get him into the kitchen. He wouldn't go in on his own. He even crated himself at one point during the video, which is a placement command that we taught him a long time ago. We haven't practiced it in a while, but it's something that we'll do in a future video where you can teach your dogs to stay out of certain rooms by going to a placement spot. So he kind of fell back and did that on his own. And there were parts in the video where I actually went in another room, acted like I was doing my hair or working on the computer, and completely left him to his own devices, and he decided to stay out. So this is a great first practice for counter surfing. Now, we're still going to manage his environment for a couple weeks and make sure that he doesn't fall back to his own devices. If you have a dog that is having a excessive problem with counter surfing, then you really want to be on top of them, and getting to that point where we were across the room and across the house from them can take a couple weeks depending on how much you're having to be on top of them when you're just in those initial phases and having stuff on the counter and you're right there. So practice, take your time. If you have any questions, you can contact us at www.rockindogs.com, and we will see you guys on the next video. So have fun playing with your dogs.